Welcome back to my channel. I'm James. Today we're going to be doing another special video in my top 10 favorite 80s horror movies on 4K Ultra HD. And these are each must-own horror movies on 4K that everybody needs to have in their collection. And in this video I had specific qualifications that each of these titles had to meet. For example, they obviously had to be from 1980, which means from 1980 to 1989. Nothing from 1990 and nothing from 1979. So it had to be specifically from that date range, as well as they had to be titles that I had seen at least 3 times. That I've watched each of the films 3 times and that I enjoyed them each and every time that I watched them. As well as they had to be amazing image and sound quality. So these could not be titles that were middling image and sound quality that they were okay looking. These are ones that all looked really outstanding and are very good 4K Ultra HD releases. As I said, each of these had to be must-own releases on 4K Ultra HD. So movies like Friday the 13th from 1980 that got a 4K Ultra HD release did not qualify because of its middling and poor image quality, and the sound wasn't that amazing either. So those types of films that are middling or just weren't outstanding amazing image and sound quality simply didn't qualify. So when I get comments of people saying, hey, why wasn't my movie included in this that I absolutely loved? That's the reason why. It's simply they had to be amazing image and sound quality along with all of those other qualifications that I listed, and that they're my favorites that I enjoyed. So I'll point this out as well. If you can't handle somebody else's personal opinions or favorite films that they enjoy, then this video is probably not for you, because I am sharing my personal opinions, my favorites that I enjoy, things that I've tested, that I've reviewed and analyzed, and what of these ones are the top films, image, sound quality, that really are something that everybody needs to watch and enjoy on their home cinemas. Now, for each and every one of the films I'm going to cover in this video, I've posted all of the direct links from Amazon in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below. So if you don't own any of these or any of these you haven't watched or checked out yet and you're wanting to add them to your collection or buy them, make sure to use those Amazon links that I've posted in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below. Starting off at number 10 is Alligator from 1980. Now this was directed by the same director as Cujo, which was another horror film, but I really enjoy this creature feature from the 80s. If you have not checked out this 4K Ultra HD release, it's a very good looking release and it does sound pretty darn good as well. It has a full native 4K 2160p with Dolby Vision, and it's a nice treat that they did a brand new 4K scan from the original camera negatives for this release. And it's one of those things that I love the creature coming out, and there's things that like when it's going through the tunnels, and if you've ever watched a lot of these like Jaws or creature features from all different decades, you know what you're getting into with Alligator. There's blood, there's limbs flying, there's people getting torn apart. But I've always really enjoyed Alligator, and it finally got a very nice looking 4K Ultra HD release from Shout and Scream Factory. And this is one of those you're going to want to have in your collection if you have not checked out this film. It is a very good horror creature feature from the 80s that's a must-own release. Coming in at number 9 is Child's Play from 1988. And this is directed by Tom Holland, who's one of my favorite horror directors. And you'll understand why when I get a little bit later in this video. But he did a great job with this. It is more of a lighthearted, kind of more comedic horror, I would say. Now, it's still a horror film. It's got gore, and like we kind of talk about with horror films, it always seems to do with gore and limbs and things like that. But Child's Play, in my opinion, is more of a lighthearted horror. The later films in the series do go in more darker directions, but the original is personally my favorite, and I really enjoy like the animatronic look at the end of obviously the doll and when they're burning it. All of those things really stand out as kind of more or less CGI, more realistic effects, which is what I enjoy from the 80s. And that's what this one does. When the doll comes to life, obviously with the dead guy's soul in it, and he's hunting down those that have harmed him, and all of those things are going on. It's done more comedically and lighthearted, and that's why this one still to this day I enjoy watching, and it is a very enjoyable horror film from the 80s, and this 4K Ultra HD release is the absolute best way to watch this film ever. It does have nice film grain throughout it. It's a native 4K 2160p, and it does have Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos on it. And the Dolby Atmos on this was pretty darn enjoyable as well. There's some surprising moments where they actually moved things around nicely and used the height channels nicely. This is one of those must-own 4K Ultra HD releases of horror films from the 80s that if you have not bought this yet, you need to buy this one and add this to your collection. Now, if you love and enjoy movies and TV series, this channel is the place for you. Make sure to go down there, give this video a like and a thumbs up for me, and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you never miss out on any of these exclusive videos that you're only going to find to watch here on my YouTube channel. Coming in at number 8 is Christine, the John Carpenter Stephen King adaptation. It is one of those films that's kind of a slightly more acquired taste. When I was debating on what would be in the top 10, visual quality wise, this looks very nice on this 4K restoration that they did. But it is one of those films that some people have never seen or experienced and falls into obviously 80s horror. And it came out in 1983 and it's directed by John Carpenter, who in my opinion is one of the master filmmakers of horror films of all time. I really enjoy this. I think it has one of the best and coolest kind of practical looking effects of the car like coming apart and then going back together and molding back together. Man, is it one of those just awe-inspiring scenes to see what they did back in the 80s for this film. I do like the idea of the car kind of being possessed and going after people and the things that happen in it. I think it's really well done, and I'm a big Stephen King fan. As most of you know that have followed me here on my YouTube channel for a while, I really enjoy Stephen King's books. I enjoy his movies, his TV series, and Christine comes in at number 8 with a native 4K 2160p transfer that looks great on this 4K Ultra HD release and a really good Dolby Atmos mix. It's one of those that easily earned its spot on my list, and it's one of those I go back to and watch over and over again. The scene with the car alone is worth watching this film, let alone the rest of it is very enjoyable as far as films go from the 80s. But if you haven't checked out this one, you need to buy this one and add this one to your collection. As I said at the beginning, all of the links for every single one of these that I'm talking about in this video, I've posted those directly down as a pinned comment in the comment section below. That way any of these you don't own that you want to buy and add to your collection, just go down there, click on those links. I've made it nice and easy for all of you. Coming in at number 7 is Children of the Corn. This is one of those really chilling and creepy Stephen King adaptation films. Now, not everyone in my horror list is a Stephen King adaptation, but I will say he is one of those masterclass writers of horror and horror films. And I will say this is one of those that holds up very well. Now, if you haven't checked out my previous exclusive 4K versus Blu Ray image comparison review, you'll want to go check out that review after you get done watching this video. It is one of those that I was very impressed with the quality of it. It's got the native film grain. It's a native 4K 2160p with Dolby Vision and HDR10. And because of the storied history of this on previous home video releases over the years, this one is the ultimate way to view this film. If you have not checked it out yet, it's basically the story of some people going through a town and coming across basically some of the things that are cultish going on with kids in this town. And I don't want to give everything away, but I will say there are some genuinely creepy and horror moments in this film that really just kind of take you back for a second. And for a film that came out in 1984, it still is a very good, chilling horror today. And there are some things in this, because of how creepy some of the children are in this, that will still give you nightmares today. That is how well it is done, with that chilling, creepy vibe from beginning to end of this film. And this one easily earned its spot on the list and is a must-own 4K Ultra HD release from Arrow Video. I absolutely enjoyed this film in this outstanding 4K restoration on 4K Ultra HD of Children of the Corn. Now, any of these titles that you own already, that you've experienced, that you enjoyed, or any of these that you haven't seen yet and that you're excited to buy and add to your collection, start that conversation in the comment section below and let me know what of these you're excited for, what of these you haven't gotten yet on 4K and you're excited to get. Let me know what of these ones are your favorites. Start that conversation in the comment section right below. Coming in at number 6 is The Fog, another amazing John Carpenter horror film. This is one of those films that I thoroughly enjoy. I enjoyed it so much that you can check out my exclusive 4K versus 4K image comparison analysis between both 4K Ultra HD releases that I own of The Fog. I did an exclusive comparison of Scream Factory's 4K Ultra HD release and Studio Canal's 4K Ultra HD release in that exclusive video. I pulled the native data off of both of them and show you the images side by side and which one comes out as the winner. I can tell you though, as far as the film goes, I absolutely love this film from 1980. John Carpenter, as I said, is a master horror director. He does a great job with the music. I absolutely love the music in every single John Carpenter film. A lot of people aren't aware, but he does a lot of the music himself. And he actually has some pretty darn good soundtracks and CDs that I personally own and I listen to because I love that like synthwave and 80s style music that he does, and it is very enjoyable to me. This is one of those films I love the like idea of you can't quite see what's coming after you out of the fog throughout it. It's very done with some great lighting and effects. The darkness is used wonderfully in it to be a creepy effect of you don't know what's coming. And the people in the town don't really know what's coming either. There's myths, there's legends, and they're experiencing it firsthand, the horrors of the fog and the creatures coming out of it after the people. It's done really well in this. I absolutely love this limited edition SteelBook set that I talked about in that exclusive review that I did. But this is one of those that if you have not added this to your collection, it's not too over the top for a horror film. This is one of those horror films that has a great native 4K 2160p with Dolby Vision and HDR10, and it's got a really nice Dolby Atmos mix. It's a treat on this one. I enjoy it from beginning to end. This is one of those that is a really fun time and earned its spot at number 6 on my top 10 80s horror movies on 4K Ultra HD. Coming in at number 5 is another Tom Holland horror masterpiece, and this is from 1985. This is Fright Night. Now, if you haven't checked out my previous exclusive 4K versus Blu Ray image comparison analysis and review, you're gonna wanna check out that review after you get done watching this video. But this release is one of my favorite horror movies from the 80s. It's a vampire horror movie. There is so many things that were done right with this film. It has such a classic 80s vibe with the soundtrack, the feel, the set pieces, the pacing, and the acting in this are just great. And I love the direction by Tom Holland. As I referenced earlier, he did quite a few classic 80s horror movies like Child's Play that I love, but this one comes in ahead of Child's Play. I love the vampire story behind this and all of that goes into building the epic story that they used for this film. And it has a native 4K 2160p transfer with Dolby Vision, and I can tell you the Dolby Atmos, just like I talked about in that exclusive review video I did, the Dolby Atmos in this is an amazing treat. I absolutely loved the use of Dolby Atmos on this, especially with the use of the vampire walking across the roof, and you can hear it in your height channels like they're really walking on your roof. It is done so well into such a good creepy effect for this film that I absolutely adore this 4K Ultra HD release. And this is a must buy, must own 4K Ultra HD release you gotta have in your collection. If you love 80s horror or you love horror movies at all, this is one of those that is a must own, as all of these are, but man, this one was such a cool 4K release. Coming in at number 4 is the horror chiller from 1982, Poltergeist. Now, there's a lot of storied history about this film that I talk about in my exclusive 4K versus Blu Ray image comparison analysis and review video. I did that originally a while back. If you haven't checked out that video, you'll want to check out that video. But as far as the film goes, there's a lot of storied history about how much Steven Spielberg filmed versus the original director, and how much of the infighting there was between it when the one director stepped away, how much Steven Spielberg stepped in and did himself. I feel when I watch this film, I see a lot of Steven Spielberg's hand throughout it. I enjoy it for that reason. I think it's not too over the top, but it is one of those kind of psychological horrors that how much of it are they actually experiencing, how much of it isn't, and you're trying to figure it out along the way. All done with that great 80s vibe, the music, the feeling. If you love Steven Spielberg, I know a lot of people reference the original director, but I really feel like Steven Spielberg's hand was all over this film, and that is why I love it. It has a very Steven Spielberg-esque vibe to it, and that is why I love this film. This 4K Ultra HD looked really good, and it is a native 4K 2160p. And I think the creepy effects and horror vibe throughout it are well done with the pacing of it. And there's still scenes to this day that still creep me out every time I watch it. Like with the clown doll in the boy's bedroom when he sits up and the clown doll and the lightning going off and flashing on the clown doll's face as it moves. And wow, was that just creepy, and to this day still gives me the chills every single time I watch it, which is why I have fun watching this film, and that's why this easily earned its spot as number 4 on my 4K Ultra HD 80s movies you gotta own that are great horror films. If you have not checked out this film yet, you'll want to go check out my review and buy this 4K Ultra HD release. This is another great must-own movie. If you love everything about movies and TV series, make sure to go down there and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Coming in at number 3 is Dario Argento's Phenomena, Creepers. There's numerous titles for this film based on the cuts and where it was released around the world. This film originally came out in 1984, and it did get a brand new 4K restoration, and I will tell you this is one of the best 4K Ultra HD releases of an 80s horror film that I have seen yet. Here's why. I talk about a lot of the times the different cuts of films being put on to 4K Ultra HD, and how sometimes the different cuts of the films get delegated or shoved off onto a Blu Ray instead of being put onto a 4K Ultra HD, so that way you can experience each cut of the film on 4K. This release was one of those that really surprised me, and Synapse Films and Arrow Video did an amazing job with this release. Instead of cutting corners, they gave us all 3 cuts of the film on 4K Ultra HD with brand new 4K restorations and scans of the original camera negatives. So you get your Italian version, then you get your international, and you get your Creepers version. So all of the different cuts, US, international, Italian, they're all on 4K Ultra HD discs, not shoved onto a Blu-ray disc and kind of shoved off to the side. They are all on 4K Ultra HD. This is one of those amazingly creepy Dario Argento films from the 80s with Jennifer Connelly in it. I absolutely enjoy her performance in this. I think it's very multi-layered. She does a great job just kind of seeming out of it sometimes and then not being too affected by some of the things she's seeing, and then the next second she's all of a sudden shocked by it. Overall, her performance throughout it is very enjoyable. I think the monkeys in this, which I love on the front cover here, and I think the monkeys in this are really creepy and done very well in this film for that effect. And this is one of my favorite Dario Argento films, and to be honest with you, this is the only way you should ever watch this film. It is that stunning of a restoration on 4K Ultra HD, and this is a very creepy but beautifully filmed horror film, if that makes sense. If you've seen this film, you know what I mean. There's numerous scenes that it's done beautiful horror scenes, and it's done great on this 4K release and looks absolutely superb in this. You gotta check this film out. You gotta buy this one and add this to your collection. Coming in at number 2 is The Lost Boys from 1987. Now, I reviewed this originally with an exclusive 4K versus Blu-ray image comparison analysis. If you want to check out the full review video, it's available right now here on this channel. But The Lost Boys to me has always been The Goonies, but obviously horror and vampire vibes throughout it. But man, does this feel like an extension of The Goonies. If you've watched The Goonies originally, I love that 80s film. But it always gave me that feel, just with horror vibes throughout it. Man, does The Lost Boys stand up great these days. In that review video, I loved this 4K release. It looks superb. I think Warner Brothers did an amazing job with this 4K restoration compared to the previous releases. They did a great job with this. It looks and sounds phenomenal. But the film is such an enjoyable vampire horror film that easily stands the test of time. No matter how many times I watch this film, which is probably about 8 or 9 times now in my lifetime, this film I enjoy every single time. And this 4K is the best way to experience it. This is another one of those that I absolutely love watching because of how it makes me feel like The Goonies. It's kind of that story of discovering lost innocence and discovering the fact of that horror creatures do exist, how it affects certain people that basically think they want to be a part of it and then find out they don't want anything to do with it when they realize how horrible it is, trying to get out of it, finding out that they're going to harm other people, then a fight and survival, and so many elements mixed great in this film. Romance, the music, the tone. They just don't make films like this anymore, especially horror films that are this amazing. They just don't come out anymore in theaters. I loved these films that I grew up watching. This is one of those amazing 80s horror films that you must buy and add to your collection. Coming in at number 1 is CREEPSHOW from 1982. And that's on 4K Ultra HD. Now the reason I'm showing you this box is because I actually took the innards out and I'm using this for my 4K Ultra HD. Because I like the original Blu Ray collector's box that these came in, as opposed to the new 4K Ultra HD artwork that you're seeing above. But the 4K release is an absolutely stunning 4K Ultra HD release, which has been pretty rare from Shout and Scream Factory lately. As most of you know that have followed me here on my YouTube channel, they've had a rough history the last few months, and they've had some pretty poor releases. The CREEPSHOW one is not, though I will say on a slightly negative side that my 4K Ultra HD release is being replaced by Scratch Factory, if you get the drift. They actually had a bunch of scratches through my first disc, and I'm getting that replaced. So that is why I'm using this to show you in the first place, but my actual set is being replaced and I'm getting a new one sent to me. I was able to play it and watch it, obviously, which is why I know how amazing it is. I didn't have any issues with it skipping. It was very nice looking, but those scratches did bother me, so I'm having it replaced anyways, because those scratches, you never know that they're not going to cause issues later on. But really, they are known as Scratch Factory. I mean, honestly, I think they should change their name and kind of even reference it with how horrible their discs have been over the years because of all their scratches. But the 4K Ultra HD release of CREEPSHOW is absolutely stunning. It's a native 4K 2160p with Dolby Vision and HDR10. I can tell you the Dolby Vision was almost 10% better looking than HDR10. It is literally just a gorgeous looking native 4K. It also came with an amazing sounding Dolby Atmos mix on it. The Dolby Atmos was a massive treat that I really enjoyed. Now, if any of you know any of the history about CREEPSHOW, George A. Romero, and then obviously written by Stephen King, another Stephen King that I absolutely love. And CREEPSHOW has such a great vibe throughout the entire film. I love all the actors, the guest actors, the surprise appearances, the practical effects, and everything they did with this really stands out as some of the best of 80s horror. I'll give you a couple little extra tidbits of some testing I did for all of you. For its rough average bitrate, it had a very high and very healthy 74 megabits per second. It was very surprising from beginning to end and lended to why it just looked so amazing with that native 4K. And they did a new 4K scan of the original camera negatives, which shines through brilliantly with the depth and detail. All of the film grains there, it is nicely stable, some brief fluctuations, but nothing too bad at all. And I can tell you it's my favorite 1980s horror movie, coming in at number 1 on 4K Ultra HD. If you have not bought it yet or added it to your collection, I put those direct links for each and every one of these that I talked about in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below. If you're wanting to buy any of these that you don't own yet, make sure to use those links I posted right down there below. They help to support the creation of these videos a tiny bit, but those links never cost you a penny extra and they're on sale for the same prices everywhere. Heck, CREEPSHOW is actually on sale through that link down there below for quite a bit less than anywhere else. So make sure if you're wanting to buy it, click on that link I posted down below. Let me know if you're excited for CREEPSHOW now to buy and add to your collection. Let me know about any of these. Do you own all of these releases? What of these don't you own? What of these are you gonna buy now on 4K? Start that conversation down there below in the comment section and let me know what of these you're gonna be buying and adding to your collection. Can't say how much I loved CREEPSHOW. Waiting for my replacement to come back in so I can slip it back in this box, because man, this is one of those that was just so much fun and I'm excited to watch it again. Though I've seen it numerous times on the Blu Ray release that used to be in this box set, I'm excited to watch it again on 4K and experience it all over again. That Dolby Atmos was such a great treat. I was really surprised at how good of a job Scream Factory, Scratch Factory did with the Dolby Atmos on it. It was a nice treat and a surprise that was well worth the wait, and I'm hoping we get CREEPSHOW 2 on 4K Ultra HD from Arrow Video, because I do know Arrow Video has the rights to CREEPSHOW 2. So I'll be curious to see if Arrow Video goes back and does a 4K restoration for CREEPSHOW 2. That would be a really great one as well. If you enjoyed this video and this video helped you out, make sure to join my Collectors VIP Club. There's a button right on the main page here of this YouTube channel. It only costs you a couple of bucks every month, but that goes directly into the creation of videos just like this and helps to support this YouTube channel. Every single video I create on my YouTube channel can only happen through all of you, my viewers and subscribers' support. Through that Collectors VIP Club, after YouTube takes about its 35%, I get about $1. But that buck drastically makes a difference in me being able to go out, test, analyze, and constantly create all this exclusive content that all of you enjoy watching here every single week. I'm not sponsored or paid by any of these studios. So make sure if you enjoy this content and this content helps you out, support this channel, support the creation of these videos through my Collectors VIP Club. I want to say thank you to all of my current Collectors VIP Club members. You are amazing, and I really appreciate every single one of you. As always, I truly hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've always got something new, exclusive, early, and exciting coming out very soon.